Do you think Adam was justified in walking away after Elisa's confession? Or was he holding her to an unrealistic standard? Drop your thoughts in the comments and let's talk about it. The illusion of the slow burn. Let me tell you something raw, something I'm still trying to untangle months later. My name's Elise, I'm 26, and until not too long ago, I really thought I had a handle on how dating was supposed to work. Not the cheesy rom-com kind. The real stuff, the messy, imperfect timing is everything kind of real. I thought I had my own system figured out. I'd stay single, have fun, avoid heartbreak, and when the right guy finally came along, I'd do it right this time. That's when I met Adam. It was one of those loud, overpriced house parties that my best friend Mira loved throwing. She begged me to come because she needed balance in the guest list, whatever that meant. I showed up expecting the usual guys with too much cologne and not enough conversation. But Adam, he stood out. He wasn't the loudest guy in the room. He wasn't the flashiest. But he carried himself like someone who didn't need to prove anything. Grounded. While everyone else was doing shots and shouting over music, Adam was standing in the kitchen actually talking to people, really listening. We got into a conversation that lasted for hours. Not surface-level stuff. We talked about his job, my travels, our complicated families, childhood stories, the weird quirks we noticed about ourselves but never told anyone else. Just flowed. Effortless. I felt seen, not just flirted with. When he asked for my number, I gave it to him. No hesitation, no games. That was rare for me. He texted the next morning. Simple, respectful. We grabbed coffee that week, and it went even better than the party. We talked for 3 hours. There was chemistry but also curiosity. He asked questions and remembered my answers. There were no creepy lines or awkward silences. Just an honest connection. And that's when I made a decision. I wanted to do things differently this time. I didn't want to jump straight into something physical and end up disposable again. I'd made that mistake before. So many times. Sleep with them too soon. And suddenly they vanish, like the connection never meant anything. But with Adam I saw potential. Not just casual dating. Actual relationship material. So I decided to build something real. I pulled back physically, not emotionally. I slowed it down. The second date, dinner downtown. He was a complete gentleman. Held doors, remembered my favorite wine, even asked about my writing hobby that I'd only briefly mentioned. When he drove me home, I could tell he wanted to come inside. But I smiled and said I was taking things slow because he actually mattered to me. His disappointment was there, but he nodded and respected it. He kissed me gently and said he couldn't wait to see me again. That kiss lingered in my mind for days. The plan seemed to be working. Every date after that felt more intimate, more connected. We'd go out, talk for hours, and end the night wrapped in each other's arms. But nothing more. Not yet. Adam would text every morning, call me just to say hi. He remembered the small things. My mom's birthday, the song I said made me cry, even how I take my tea. About a month in, he started saying things like, "Can't wait for you to meet my friends," or "I was telling someone about you today." I felt like I was becoming someone in his life. Someone important. But here's where I messed up, depending on who you ask. While I was slow burning with Adam, I wasn't exactly celibate. I still had a few casual guys from before, like Leo, who I'd see maybe once a month. No emotional attachment. Just release. Comfort. Familiarity. It wasn't cheating. Adam and I weren't exclusive. We hadn't defined anything. I was just keeping my options open like people do. I never talked about it with Adam. Why would I? It had nothing to do with what we were building. By the 3rd month, Adam was all in. I could feel it. He'd leave sweatshirts at my place, talk about weekend trips, bring up his sister who wanted to meet me. I felt like I'd done it right this time. Made him work for it. Built anticipation. Emotional depth. He even called me refreshing. Said I wasn't like the others. That Friday night we were cooking dinner at his place. He opened a bottle of red he'd been saving and cleaned his apartment like he was expecting a visit from royalty. I had this feeling. Tonight might be the night he asked me to be his girlfriend. Everything was perfect. The food, the wine, the laughter. And then, over dishes, we started swapping stories about past relationships. Casual, harmless stuff, first. Then Adam asked me how I'd spent the last couple years being single. I was buzzed and comfortable, so I told the truth, that I'd had some casual arrangements, friends with benefits types. Nothing serious. I saw something shift in his face. He asked, gently at first, if that was still going on when we met. And again, trying to be honest and open, I said, yeah, there was some overlap in the early weeks. But it wasn't a thing. It didn't mean anything. That's when things went cold. Yes. He didn't yell. He didn't accuse. He just started asking questions. Were those guys still around? How often? And why was I fine being physical with them but not with him? I tried to explain that he was different. That I cared about him in a real way, which is why I was taking it slow. That the others didn't matter. But the words weren't landing the way I hoped. He looked at me like I was someone he didn't recognize. Like the story he'd built in his head about me had just collapsed. I reached for him and said maybe it was finally time. That I wanted to be with him now, for real. But he pulled away. Now? He asked, voice quiet. After this conversation. Now you're ready. I said yes, that realizing how much I cared made me want to take that step. But he didn't believe it. He said it felt like I was offering it as damage control, not love. That's when I knew I'd lost him. He told me to go home. That he needed time. And I left, feeling like everything I'd built for 3.5 months had shattered in 5 minutes. Gave him space. Texted a few days later, said I wanted to talk like adults. He replied but cold. Distant. Called. No answer. Another text. He said he was still processing. That Friday I showed up at his apartment. He looked tired, like someone who'd spent a week arguing with himself. I poured my heart out. Told him I'd never lied. That I respected what we had. That I'd been trying to protect it. He listened. Then calmly said, Elise, I respect your choices. But I can't build something with someone who operates like that. It's not about your past. It's about how you framed it. It doesn't align with what I want. That night, I walked away knowing it was over. I kept hearing through mutual friends how happy Adam seemed with this new girl he met not long after. Less than 3 months in, they moved in together. 6 months later, engaged. Meanwhile, I'm still left sorting through the wreckage of what I thought was a careful, mature approach to love. Everyone talks about how honesty is the best policy. But being honest is what burned it all down. And now, I'm not bitter. Just tired. Tired of being painted like the villain in a story where I never lied, never cheated, never played games. I tried to do it the right way. But maybe the right way only works when the person you're building with actually understands the whole you. Not just the version that fits their fantasy.